Hello and welcome to episode 19 of the Read Between podcast, the improvised storytelling podcast where we take the internet's weirdest suggestions and turn them into weird, wacky, and crazy stories through the power of improv. I'm one of your co-hosts, Evan.
I'm your other co-host, Lynn.
And joining us today is another very special guest. He is a actor, director, producer, writer, comedian, a lot of other nouns that I don't want to spend time because there's so many to list off. Our good friend, Dan Maher, is with us today.
It's good to be here. I'm going to include a couple nouns that you did leave off.
Please include some more.
Very important to me.
Please.
I am also a husband and cat owner.
Yes. Very important. Two very important nouns. Dan, thank you for joining us today.
It's good to be here. It's good to be here.
So Dan, for those who may not know who you are, you want to tell them a little about yourself, what you do?
What I do? I am a comedian type person located out of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. I do the improv comedy. I like to put on this web series that I haven't done in a while called Transform My Transformers, where I invite my friends over to my house and have them transform my Beast Wars or other era Transformers while they talk about toys that they liked as kids.
Yes, okay. I am a former guest on that show. I love doing that show. That was so much fun.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Are you bringing it back soon anytime?
Yeah, that's the plan. That's what I keep telling myself.
Cool.
Right? And you keep telling yourself something, it eventually happens.
Yeah.
You put it out into the world and it comes back to you.
And Dan also runs in the Allentown, Pennsylvania area the twice monthly improv comedy bar brawl out of the Allentown Brew Works.
That's correct. We've been running that for a number of years now. It originally started as Flighty Ducks running the bar brawl, and then when we ended that project, people wanted to keep going with it, so we kept going with it. And it's a wonderful night, second and fourth Tuesdays over at the Allentown Brew Works down in the basement, 8 p.m. You get to catch usually about 7 or 8 improv teams, maybe some variety acts, just doing weird experimental comedy stuff.
Yeah.
I was going to swear. Can we swear
No,
on
we
that?
can
You can swear? Okay.
Yeah. Just get all your fucks and shits out in this episode.
It's past the moment, so I'm not going to swear again. But if it comes up, I'm just going to lean into it.
There you go. There you go. We're all about leaning into it here.
Great.
Yeah. We have no shame. So yes, again, thanks to Dan for joining us today. And so to get us started, so for Dan and anybody else who may be new to the show here, what we do in the first half of our episodes here is Lynn here will peruse the subreddit Not the Onion on Reddit, which has crazy headlines that you would think would show up on the website The Onion for being fake, but they're actually real. So we're going to go through some headlines. We're going to pick a few that we like, and then the one that we like the most, we're going to tell the story behind.
Sounds good.
So Lynn, do you want to kick us off? Let us know what you found so far.
Okay. This one might be. This one is a well-known headline. It came out like maybe a day or two ago.
Okay.
After eating Chipotle for 500 days, an Ohio man says he's ready for something new.
I did not hear about that.
I did.
For 500 days straight?
Yeah, he's ready for. He's done. He's ready for something new.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a limited menu at Chipotle. There's a lot of combinations that you can get in there.
Yeah. You can only have so much barbacoa and white rice.
Let's do the math. You're a math guy, right?
Oh, God.
You're a math
so
guy.
there's 6 different meat options.
Okay.
There's 12. That's too much math.
No, that's good. This is good. This is a start. There's 6 meat options, right?
Yeah.
I'm pulling out a calculator right here. So there's 6 meat options.
Yes. There's hot salsa, mild salsa, medium salsa. There's corn.
Okay. Well, hold on. How many condiments are there?
So I'm thinking. So there's hot, mild, and medium. There's sour cream, there's guac, there's corn salsa, there is the lettuce, there's cheese.
Yeah.
So there's 9 different condiments.
Okay.
Including guac.
All right.
There's 2 different rice options.
Okay.
There's also there's 10 condiments because if you can count the mixed veggies.
Okay.
So 10 condiment options, 2 rice options.
Yeah.
So there's barbacoa, steak, chicken, the sofrita, and I think that's 4.
Is it chorizo?
No, it's the.
The sofrito is like the tofu.
It's
one.
like the
So there's the chicken. There's beef.
Chicken, beef, steak.
They do a pork.
They do a pork. Yeah, the carnitas. So there's 5 meat options.
Yeah.
5 meat options, 2 rice options, 10 condiments.
5 to 10. What about shells?
Shells. So you can either do bowl, you can do burrito, or you can do tacos.
So it's
3.
Okay.
Or salad. So there's 4.
Salad. All right. So we're at least 400 combinations.
Oh my God.
If you only took one of each of those things, but once we get into the permutations of I will have pico, but I won't have salsa. I'll have
Yes.
pico and corn and sour cream, but I won't have guac. I'll do that plus guac.
Now we're getting into the thousands.
So now so that's much higher than 500.
So he gave up early.
So he gave up early.
Yeah.
This guy's a quitter, and I don't like
he's a quitter. So what's another one?
Okay. So no, I'm not gonna do that one. Never mind.
Is it sad?
No, it's just not funny.
Okay. Wait, if something's sad or it's not funny.
Wait. Is it so it's not sad? Is it like dark? Is it really dark?
No, it's just I don't know why it's here. It's not
sensational.
It's not not the Onion, right? It's not sensational.
We need to know what it is.
It's about the dog that was mistakenly flown to Japan.
Oh, okay.
That is sad.
That is kind of sad.
It's sad, I guess. Well, okay, let me put it this way. So United Airlines has not been in a good spot for last week.
Yeah.
We all know that. So the one thing was that the dog was it was supposed to go to Kansas.
No.
It went to Japan. What United did after the other bad thing, I'm not going to name it.
Yeah.
They gave this dog a private jet home. And
that's wasteful.
I didn't hear about that.
Wasteful.
Yes, he got his own private jet home. From Japan to Kansas.
That would be an interesting story. The dog's flight home, huh?
So there you go.
Okay.
That's and all the title is dog mistakenly flown to Japan, reunited with Kansas family.
Okay.
But there is a bit more. He got a private jet. Yeah.
Okay.
All of that.
All right.
In 3 years, Disney's going to make that as Homeward Bound 3.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah. That's gonna be the new reboot of Homeward Bound.
Yeah. As the dog goes to Japan. Great. Explore different cultures.
Yeah.
And then the private jet back. Now that's suddenly realistic and not.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now it turned into like First Kid. Where
Oh,
you'll find I make old references.
What's the other one? Blank Check?
Blank Check.
Yeah.
Yes.
Blank Check.
Yes.
He gets his bike broken and the thieves are like, here's a blank check. We just robbed a bank for $1 million.
Oh, man. Old Disney and Disney Channel movies.
Last one. Giant yellow duck missing off the Washington coast after fleeing swimming competition.
After fleeing a swimming competition.
Who was looking for this giant yellow duck that went? Oh, I guess it's like privately owned.
I guess so.
Someone trained
Probably.
it to swim.
I mean, it's like a
rubber duck?
yeah.
Oh, so
There's the little picture.
Oh.
So there's a giant yellow duck that fled a swimming competition in Washington State, and it's missing now.
Oh, okay.
So it's just like out there somewhere in the Pacific.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be hilarious. Just like floating.
Washes up on the island from Lost.
So out of those three, we have the duck that went astray,
Chipotle.
the Chipotle
man,
and we have the dog
that got the private jet.
Which one would you like to tell the story behind?
I want to steal Disney's thunder, and I want to do that dog.
Yeah.
Adventures in Japan.
Yeah. Disney, we're coming for you. No, sorry. No free ads on this show.
Sorry,
free
Disney. Forget it. Don't buy Disney products. Don't go see Disney movies. We're all going to be boycotting Infinity War next month when it comes out, just to make a stand, right? You're into boycott Infinity War. Say it. Say you're into boycott Infinity War. Say you don't want to see it.
I already bought my tickets.
You can't see it. You're going to burn those tickets.
They're mobile. I can't burn my phone.
Burn your phone. Burn every computer you have. Log into every computer in the world and destroy that computer because it has your login information on it. You're in there. Because we are making a stand. This show does not sell out. And Disney, you're not giving us anything just because we said your name a whole bunch of times now.
So, with that being said, let's tell the story of the of Homeward Bound 2018. Dog from Japan.
Dog to Japan.
Dog
right?
to and from Japan.
He's from what? Iowa? Kansas.
Come from Kansas.
Kansas dog goes to Japan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So this story starts off in Chicago. Family of four. Their dog Bruiser, coming back from. They were in Hawaii for vacation. They took the dog with them to Hawaii for some reason.
Yeah, they love this dog. This is a beloved member of the family.
Yeah, it's the fifth child.
Yeah.
It's the fifth child. So they brought the dog with them to Hawaii. It was a great time. It was a great week spent.
This dog. This is like where the story is a little bit dark and a little bit sad, but like you need this sort of emotional weight. The family has how many kids?
3 kids.
3 kids, right? It used to have 4, and this dog belonged to the 4th kid who passed away. It was like a motorcycle accident or something like this. Kid shouldn't have been on a motorcycle. He was 7 years old. He passed away, and the dog is all that remains, right? Like, and the family loves this dog, so they're like, we want to hold on to it. This is too dark. This is really dark.
Hey, we got to hit some new levels on this show,
right? But like, the dog is the memory of the kid.
Yes,
exactly.
The dog is the memory of the kid. So like, that's why this dog is so important.
Yeah, they even named the dog after the child that passed away. It was Bruiser Jr.
Yeah, like the dog used to have another name,
Yeah.
and they're like, nope, that name's gone.
Yeah.
You're Bruiser now. You're replacing this child.
Yes, it was basically like they adopted this dog as a child. They went through the entire court system to adopt this dog as an actual child.
Yeah,
and not a pet.
Because there's no rule in the adoption laws, right, that says you can't adopt a dog as your child.
Exactly. Yeah. So they went through that whole legal battle, and this was the 4th child. This was the
fourth
child. Correct. Yes.
Fourth child. Yeah.
Yes. So
they even got it so that this dog now has the social security number of the deceased child.
it can claim taxes for itself. It can.
There were a lot of questions like, is this child actually dead, or is this child just a dog now? A lot of confusing questions that the government was asking.
Yeah, most of his teachers are just like, fine, whatever.
Bring the dog
You do
in.
your homework. You're not eating it. Everything's good.
The dog was actually a straight A student.
Yeah, so the dog's doing better than the kid was in school.
Yes, the kid was probably a C average student.
C average student. He was never going to be anything.
Dog is easily a 3.5 GPA.
This kid couldn't ride a motorcycle, right? Like, it's what he always wanted. This is a little bit of like a spoiler for the ending of the story. This dog successfully rides a motorcycle. That's part of like the final act of him getting home. Yeah.
So the family is all in Chicago. They got on their first flight from Hawaii to O'Hare. They get off. There was their connecting flight to Kansas. So they're all waiting together. And so the dog was actually they were actually allowed to bring the dog off the flight from Hawaii to Chicago. You know, get him off, get him to walk his legs and everything like that.
Yeah.
So they were just walking around the airport, and all of a sudden, it's they get the call for boarding. Time to board flight 577 from O'Hare to Kansas, and they hop on the flight. They say goodbye to Bruiser. They say, "Oh, hey, we'll see you in Kansas, no problem." And then the gate agent takes Bruiser down to. They actually have to put him back in his crate because they keep the crate behind the gates.
It's really offensive, and like the Bruiser's siblings are all like, "No, let him ride the plane. Let him ride the plane.
He's just a person like all of us."
Yeah. And like the pilot is just an a-hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pilot's like, not on my plane. He's going down below.
Yeah.
Right. And then he like chomps on a cigar and goes on the plane. Because he smokes on these planes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, pilots have a completely different rule set that they have to follow. They can just air traffic control. They can just fuck off. I know how to fly this thing.
Yeah,
they don't have to worry about any of that.
Yeah.
So Bruiser was forced to go down to the cargo bay with all the other dogs, and Bruiser just felt like I'm above this. I ride in cars. I can do all of these things that other people can do, but yet I'm stifled in my life.
And this is like a very important moment. We want to make sure that you remember this. Yes. That Bruiser sets himself as separate from all the other dogs, right? He's kind of elitist, as if they are second-class citizens to him. This is going to be a lesson he's going to learn at some point.
Yes. So he's taken around. He's taken down by the gate agent. And the gate agent gets stopped as she's heading towards the one plane. She gets diverted. They're like, "Oh, hey, we got a problem with this other flight here. Can you just come over here and help us with it quick?"
Yeah.
She still has Bruiser, so she's like, I can't leave this dog. I got to bring him with me.
Yeah.
So she starts running over this other plane, and lo and behold, this plane is heading to Tokyo.
Yeah.
It's a full Airbus 377 heading to Tokyo. Japan. Not Tokyo, Illinois.
No.
Japan. And this gate agent goes to help out with this other thing.
Yeah.
The computer's down, so they got to fix that. if you've ever been to an airport, you know computers always down somewhere, which causes problems for everybody.
This is the problem with airports. They should all just switch to Mac OS.
Yes.
Right? They're all trying to use PC, and it's like, no, PC systems crash every now and again.
I'll do you one better. Switch to Linux.
Yeah, get a Linux system in there.
Yeah.
That's even better than Mac, right?
You talk about stability, you talk about ease of use.
Oh, man. Yeah. I mean, like, everyone's like, no, that's just what the brainy people use. But, like, give yourself a week with the operating system, and you'll never go back.
Yeah, you train your whole workforce. They're going to know it.
They're going to know it.
Yeah.
They're going to know it better than you.
Yeah, exactly. So they deal with this computer problem, and Bruiser's sitting very nicely next to this gate agent. He actually jumped up in a chair and sat in a chair like a normal person.
Mm-hmm.
He was
Why
sitting,
wouldn't he?
Well, of course. Yeah, he's sitting with his paws
Yeah.
dangling off the edge of the chair. You know, it's kind of funny to think of a dog sitting in a chair like that, of course, because Bruiser's a big German Shepherd.
Just picture that, people.
Just picture
it's a chair with a German Shepherd sitting it.
upright,
like he's a human.
Yes.
Oh,
He's even got like a little hat that's on like backwards and
yeah. He's got some
Cute little
sunglasses,
jacket.
just like
Yeah.
riding up. He's like a real Poochie kind of guy.
He's wearing an Under Armour like dog vest.
yeah, right
Yeah.
with like the jogger pants.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
was comfortable.
Yeah,
for this
he was
flight.
stylish.
It's important to note that he's wearing that Under Armour because dogs don't sweat, so you need something breathable, and Under Armour breathes.
Yeah. Yeah. So Bruiser was getting tired of just sitting. He's like, "Look, I need to go somewhere. I'm gonna go." So he jumps off the chair and he sneaks out the jetway because the jetway door was open because of course they don't ever close the jetway doors.
There was like we saw earlier. We didn't mention it because it felt like a minor scene, but we should mention it now. Earlier on, we saw that there was like some hanky-panky going on between that cigar-chomping pilot that we all hate and like one of the flight attendants.
Yeah,
they went outside to like do kissy face stuff.
Yeah, it was actually the stewardess from the flight to Japan. So they actually met like in the jetway for the Japan flight, and we're doing some hanky-panky there. They kept the door propped open with one of her high heels. Yeah, and Bruiser snuck right through. Yep. And he actually got right onto the plane, and he just kind of slunk under all the seats and slunk through the walkway. I can't think of the word walkway. God damn it.
The walkway.
The walkway.
Yes, that's the word.
He went all the way down there, all the way to the back of the plane. He was like, I don't want to be spotted.
He needed to sneak on board, and it's also important to note that like this is not a world where there are just dogs that happen to be treated like people. Bruiser is unique. Yes, he is special. It's kind of like Ted in that aspect, right? Like,
or if we want to think about dogs, Air Bud
or Air Bud, right?
Yes.
Like the Air Bud had children, right?
That's true. Yes, the Air Buddies.
The Air Buddies, but that was like a genetic thing, right? Like there weren't other dogs over in Europe or whatever that just happened to play sports.
There wasn't like a French Air Bud or
no. That was like a genetic mutation that caused that dog to be able to play sports.
Right, exactly.
Similar with Bruiser, how Bruiser is just happens to be. Now, if you watch the prequel short film that was released on Disney Channel. Again, we're not giving you any props, Disney. We're never going to buy any of your merchandise again or enjoy any of your products. But in this universe, there was a Disney short film that showed the tragic motorcycle accident. Right,
which was very controversial for the time because Disney Channel has always been one of those channels that likes to shy away from anything graphic like that.
Yeah, and this was graphic.
It was.
Yeah, this should have been on like FX or AMC. Yeah. Like it should have been like a Walking Dead scene. Yeah. And so when the motorcycle accident happened, you actually see his soul kind of like go up into the ethos, and then Bruiser goes up and he like chomps at it to be like, no, don't go away, Bruiser, because this is Bruiser the dog who was previously named Buster. Yeah. Buster goes to grab Bruiser the human, and he grabs his soul, and like there's this like little magic thing going on, and it goes into him. So there actually is an aspect of the original Bruiser in Buster, who is now Bruiser.
Yes. Yeah. So he gets on the plane, sneaks in the back, sits in the very, very last row, right next to the bathroom, and just he just takes the time to just nap. Yeah. Sits up in the seat.
This was exhausting.
Yeah, it was an exhausting run through O'Hare because O'Hare is a huge airport. Yeah. So he was just being led all around. He's like, I just need to relax.
And keep in mind, this guy's just coming back from a Hawaiian vacation too. So
he spent 2 weeks in Oahu, just living life.
Which, it's nice. It's nice,
Oh, yeah.
but it's still exhausting.
It is. It is. You're just traveling everywhere.
Especially coming back home.
Yeah.
Like, oh, God, that's the worst.
You just want to get home, get a pizza, watch some Netflix, pass out, and then get on with your next day.
Exactly.
Yeah, time zones had already screwed him up enough. So he was ready to just go home. So he sits down, he puts on one of the sleep masks, pulls it out of the bin and just puts it on and just drifts to sleep.
And there's like, he's in the back of the plane, right? Mm-hmm. There's like this nice older woman who's also on the plane, and she notices him, and she notices he's going to sleep, and so she takes her blanket. She has a blanket with her, and she puts it on top of him so that he can kind of be comfortable. And this is how no one else notices the dog on the plane for the duration of the flight, because a flight from Chicago to Tokyo is about what, like 2 hours, 3 hours? That's a long time.
Yeah, I would say maybe a little longer, but pretty close.
Yeah, I'm just guessing it.
Yeah,
I'm just guessing.
That's pretty close. Yeah. Yeah. So he goes on this 3-hour journey to Tokyo. You're just sleeping the whole time. Oh yeah. And all of a sudden, he wakes up. He hears over the loudspeaker, Welcome to your destination. We're going to be landing shortly. If you have any questions, talk to your flight attendant. Welcome to Tokyo, Japan.
But that's all in subtitles. This dog's hearing it in Japanese, right? He's
hearing it in subtitles. So there's subtitles that appear in front of his.
No. There's subtitles on the
the little screen.
On
okay,
the screen
gotcha.
Are these books or movies?
These anything.
These are anything. Okay.
Yeah.
For the book adaptation, it says, this is all said in Japanese, right? Because it's important that he doesn't yet realize that he's not with his family.
Yeah,
he doesn't yet realize that he's in the wrong place. So he just hears this other language. He's like, what's going on?
Yeah. Okay.
What movie is that?
Yeah, maybe they just had to stop somewhere else beforehand.
Yeah.
Take a detour.
Yeah, they had to refuel.
Yeah.
So he's like, okay, fine. He gets up out of his seat. Yeah. He waits for everybody else to clear out. Yeah. And then he just runs out of the plane.
He runs out of the plane, and he's looking for his family.
Yeah.
He's just looking for him, and so he's going up to all these like different families in the airport, and none of them are his family.
Yeah. I mean, he's looking for 2 small boys and another small girl. It's he's like, Timmy, Jimmy, Cindy, where are you at? And he can't seem to find anybody.
Yeah.
There's a lot of families that look just like them, but
don't smell like them.
Yeah. We saw some of like his siblings were dressed in a certain way. Like one of the brothers had like a yellow baseball cap, and so he sees a kid with a yellow baseball cap, and he goes up to him, and he's all excited, and he turns around, and like it's this middle-aged dude.
Yeah, it's like, sorry, I'm not who you're looking for.
Yeah,
and it's just, and Bruiser's just looking around, just what happened? Where did I end up? I'm so confused. I'm lost. I don't know what happened.
And then there's this family getting off the plane right behind him, and he kind of looks over at him, and the dad in this family is like, "Well, kids, we're here in Japan." And then that's when it hits for Bruiser, and he's like, "What?" And you get like all these close-up shots of like signage around the airport. It's just in Japanese, right? Like it's Japanese. You get So it's like establishing, and then you even cut to outside of the airport, and you start seeing some like classic Japanese architecture.
Yeah. So Bruiser is just. He's completely lost. He's like, I got to figure out a way to get home. I don't know what to do. And he goes to tries to find that gate agent because he figures, this woman's everywhere. She'll be able to help me. And he's just looking around and he finds nobody to help him because he starts barking at them. He's like, help me. And nobody's like, I don't understand what you're saying. I can't help you.
We cut to the airport in Kansas. And it's the dad and the mom reaming out like a ticket agent, being like, "Where's our son?" And they're like, "Your sons are here." And they're like, "No, our other son." And the ticket agent's like, "You mean the dog?" Because like people don't accept that this dog is replacing their actual son. That's a little heavy. So everyone's like,
Well, I mean, the thing is, the family actually carries around the actual legal paperwork everywhere they go.
Yeah, it's important.
Yeah, because they need to be able to say, "It's legal, you son of a bitch. It's my kid. Yeah. Not my dog. It's my kid."
People shoot him down. All the time. But once you see that legal paperwork that's notarized, it is notarized.
Yeah. Notarized, signed by a judge, everything.
Yeah. Then they're like, all right, we got to find out where this kid is.
Yeah.
Cut back to Tokyo.
Yeah. So Bruiser decides, look, I can't stand in this airport. There's nothing for me here. Nobody's going to help me here. I'm going to go out, go into the city, go into the nearest town, see if I can find anybody that knows what's going on. So he runs out of the airport, and he ends up straight in the middle of downtown Tokyo. You've seen the videos and the pictures where it's just this giant city
very
center.
overwhelming.
Very overwhelming.
It's packed.
It
There's
is
a huge population in Tokyo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Times Square on steroids, pretty
Yes.
much.
Yeah.
And he's in the middle, just sitting in the middle of the street, just like, I don't know what to do, where to go. This is insane.
And there's a moment where all the traffic lights change and they stop so that people can cross, right? And so everyone starts crossing the street, and so he starts crossing with everyone because he's in the group. And then all of a sudden he's just like in the middle of the street. Everyone clears out. The lights change. He's right there. A car's coming right at him. And who pushes him out of the way? A cat.
Oh, snap, that plot twist.
This cat could sense that there was something up with Bruiser, so he's like, he pushes him out of the way, and then as Bruiser's getting himself up and collecting himself, the cat motions over to a nearby alleyway. He just shakes his head over the nearest alleyway, and Bruiser's like, all right, I'll see what he's got to say.
Yeah, Bruiser's he's so lost that he's like, all right, I'm gonna see what's going on.
Yeah.
But he's still snooty. He's still kind of rude to this cat that just saved his life and is trying to help him out.
He's still like, why should I listen to you?
I mean, after all, he is dressed in human clothes.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
Is a son.
Yeah, he's an actual child.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It is important to note that in this world, animals can communicate with each other.
Yes.
It is following Homeward Bound logic.
Yes.
Where we hear the voiceover, but we don't see like the mouths move. It's not like, did Garfield do that? Did Garfield do mouths moving?
I think Garfield did. Yeah, the mouse moving.
Yeah.
It's just Odie didn't. Odie was like
didn't.
Odie was a real dog that didn't talk, but like that was weird.
Odie's a little weird, guys.
Yeah.
Odie's not in this. He doesn't show up in this picture.
Yeah, that was I think Universal or something like that.
Universal did Garfield?
I feel like, I don't know.
Probably.
Tale of Two Kitties was the follow-up?
I think, I forget who did it, but again, no free ads on this show.
No free ads.
No free ads,
Jim Davis.
Bill Murray.
Yeah, you keep on going with your paychecks, getting them elsewhere, not from here.
Yeah.
So anyway, this cat takes Bruiser to the back alley, and he's like, hey, you look like you're lost.
And Bruiser's like, yeah, I ended up in Japan. I'm supposed to be in Kansas. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. How do I get home?
And the cat's like, oh, well, I used to be lost too, but these guys, they started helping me out. And so, like, he takes him back to, like, into the alley, and then, like, you go through, like, a little hole in the wall, right? And then it opens up into, like, Pet World, right? Where you have, like, all these stray cats and dogs just living in some sort of utopian type society.
Okay.
Right? And it's like they've taken things from mankind and, like, brought it in there and somehow repurposed it to themselves.
Yeah. Like they took an old ham radio and they just use it to play music. Now they converted it to an actual radio instead of a communication device. It just plays music.
Yeah, but it is clearly still a ham radio.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like it's got the giant oversized microphone right next to it. And there's even like this one geeky like hamster like just operating it. He's like the DJ.
Yeah. They built turntables out of actual milk crates and and like microwave turntables. Like, you know how they like the plastic ones. They actually cut music into it like they do with vinyl. Like they scratched music into it, and now they just use that as a turntable.
But Bruiser is not having any of this because it's not the standard of living he's used to.
No.
He is used to being treated like a human, not being treated like just another animal in this utopian society.
He's used to a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home in a cul-de-sac. With a bolt-on garage. He's used to that.
Whereas these cats, dogs, and hamsters, they have like a couple of beds where they all just like gather together to conserve heat.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So Bruiser he says to the whole group, look, I know what you guys are trying to do and I appreciate it, but all I really want right now is to get home. Is there anything you can do to get me on a plane back home to Kansas?
And then we cut back to Kansas where the mom is like, put me on a plane to Tokyo. Right?
Yeah.
And like they figure it out. She's on the next flight out because the dad has to stay and take care of the other kids because they all have school the next day.
Yeah.
And so she's going out there.
Yeah.
Right? And then we cut back to Tokyo.
Yeah. And so the little nerdy hamster actually, he's pretty good with computers.
Yeah, he's smart.
He's smart. So he was able to figure out, they actually had a makeshift computer. They found an old Mac that they actually converted to a new Mac. They were able to run OS 10 on there.
It's important. It's an EMAC. It was an EMAC. It was they were these models that were IMAX, but they were made just for educational purposes. That's what the EMAC is for. So it's like those old IMACs that were like they had the colorful shells and then just like a single unit.
Yeah.
But it's all white and it has like a flat screen on it.
Yeah. Yeah. So the hamster was able to hack that so that they could run the latest software, connect to the internet. Because in Tokyo, there's like Wi-Fi everywhere.
Yeah, there's so much Wi-Fi.
So they were able to get into the Wi-Fi. They were able to get on Expedia, and they were able to find that there were no flights available, commercial flights. There were no United, Delta, American, anything out of Tokyo.
But they found a place where they could book a private flight.
Yes.
And it cost $3,000, right? That's about what it costs to book a private jet.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Yeah. So it costs $3,000.
Yeah.
And the animals are like, we would love to help you, but all we have is $1.50 because they're animals. They don't use money. They just happen to have some quarters. Yeah, some yen quarters.
Yen quarters.
This movie was. It's important to know, even though we're telling the story of this, we didn't create it. That was just from one of the screenwriters. They just didn't know anything about Japan.
Yeah.
So they'll make references to like Japanese quarters and classical Japanese architecture as if that immediately means something.
Exactly. Yeah. So. But what they did see was that there was Bruiser found a sign as he was kind of walking around this pet utopia. It was a sign. It was a little flyer that said, "Want to learn about Bitcoin? Come to this seminar." And it turns out the seminar was happening maybe 2 blocks away.
Yeah, it was right there
in 5 minutes.
Yeah,
and it's it was just all these money symbols on it, and it was this There was a computer and all these money symbols, and Bruiser was like, "Guys, I think I know of a way we can find some more money."
Yeah.
So a whole group of them, the hamster, Bruiser, and the cat.
And there was like one other. There's a dog too. There's like a Japanese dog there, who's like this real like upstart. Like, hey, what are we doing? What are we doing? Like he just wants to be involved in.
He's a golden retriever.
Yeah.
He's one of the just super energetic, super excited. What are we doing? What are we doing? Where are we going? Let's do this.
Yeah, he's bigger than all the other dogs, even Bruiser. Yeah, it's important to note that.
Yeah,
that's gonna come into play later.
Yeah, so they decide to go to this Bitcoin seminar.
Yeah.
And it's this, young 25-year-old guy running this seminar teaching people in Japan about Bitcoin and how to mine it, how to find it, and the whole concept of Bitcoin wallets. It's too complicated and techy to get into on this episode, but just basically the dogs end up finding that everybody's walking around with these little drives on them.
Yeah.
These little, which end up being Bitcoin wallets.
Yeah, everyone has like a Bitcoin wallet on them, and so the dog, the perky dog, whose name was
Jasper.
Yes.
He's like, well, let's just get him from everyone. Let's just buy them off of everyone.
Yeah.
And Bruiser's like, well, that's actually not how human society works. We don't just steal from people. That'd be considered pickpocketing. And so the cat. What was the cat's name?
The cat's name was Ronald.
Ronald is like, Bruiser, you want to get home, or you want to live here for the rest of your life? And Bruiser's like, let's pick some pockets.
Yeah.
So then it's like a montage sequence of all the animals from that Utopia thing, just like going up to people and being like, hey, I'm friendly.
Yeah.
And all the citizens of Tokyo are like, oh, hey, you're a cute pet. Meanwhile, another animal would come up behind them and like just bite their Bitcoin wallet because everyone in Tokyo just like hangs it like loosely off their belt, and it's just like it's easily removable, and you could lose it and not even realize it.
It's like a person working in an office building with their ID card. It just hangs off their belt loop, and they're just if I need to put it in a computer, there you go. Yeah, but it was actually the hamster. Every time one of the dogs or the cat would separate them, they would just walk along the dog's back, grab it, and just shove it in this little bag he carries.
In the background during this montage, we see like a few times that captain from before, that pilot from before, the cigar chopping one, just like hitting on different people and getting slapped, right? Like this guy is an a-hole and no one likes him.
Do you want to see my wallet?
Yeah, it's creepy. It's like it's very creepy. And if you take it outside the context of a kid's movie, you're like, this guy should be arrested. Because he's soliciting everyone. Yeah. But that's all background.
It's all background. So they end up getting 25 of these little Bitcoin drives. Yeah. And they're like, I think this is going to be plenty. And they end up running out. They run out of the seminar, and the guy in the back is like, wait, don't you animals want to learn about Bitcoin? Okay, never mind. So they run back. They get back to the pet utopia. and they plug them all into the computer. They figure out how to get to Coinbase somehow.
Yeah, the hamster. That hamster is so smart. What was that hamster's name?
The hamster's name was TJ.
TJ the hamster.
Yes.
Yeah, TJ the DJ hamster.
Yes, TJ the DJ hamster.
Yeah, he's really smart. He figures out how to get it all to Coinbase, and he unloads it. And it's like, well, it's going to take about 20 minutes for this to go down. Mm-hmm. And so he's like, well, we wait to figure that out. You guys go get something to eat.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So they go around the corner. They go to the nearest. There's a 7-Eleven nearby. Mm-hmm. They go inside, and strictly on the outside, there's a sign that says "No animals allowed."
Yeah,
which is very upsetting to Bruiser. Bruiser
doesn't even realize it.
No,
actually, he's upset for his friends. He's like, "Why won't you let my friends in?"
Yeah,
and the people there are like, "You're not coming in either, buddy." Yeah. And he's like, "Well, let me show you my notarized paperwork," which he doesn't have.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Yeah, so Bruiser's just crap. I don't have it, but what he didn't realize was that the whole time he's been walking around Tokyo, he's been walking on his 4 legs.
Yeah,
which at this point he's like, I'm gonna have to show them what's up.
Yeah.
So he decides, you know what? This whole time I'm walking on 2 legs now.
Yeah.
His 2 front legs come up off the ground. He stands tall.
Yeah.
I mean, even though unfortunately his head only hits like halfway up to the counter.
Yeah. He's not a tall dog.
It's still intimidating.
Yeah.
This guy behind the counter is still like, and Bruiser's just, what are you going to do now? And unfortunately, the guy only hears, but Bruiser is an intimidating dog. And the guy behind the counter is just like, I'm out of here.
So he hightails it out of there. And then we get like a montage sequence of like the animals just living it up in this sushi parlor.
Oh,
yeah. They're just throwing California rolls everywhere. They're throwing
California rolls very big in Tokyo.
They are. They're very big. It's a surprise. It's surprising how it came across cultures.
Yeah.
Actually, back to Japan. They're throwing them all around. They've got soy sauce. They're just toasting with cups of soy sauce. It's it's a crazy time.
And then in walks that pilot. In walks the cigar chomping pilot, and he's like. He finally found someone that's like, okay, I'll hang out with you.
Yep.
And he's walking in there, and then he sees like all these animals, and it's like whip zoom shots on like the animals in these different little vignettes where it's like one dog is like trying to use chopsticks with its paws. One dog has like ginger on its eyes, and it's just like lying back and like taking a little nap. The cat is like. Rolled up in rice, like the cat just like decided to roll itself up in rice because it just felt nice. Felt like a nice texture.
Yeah. Then the pilot walks in. He's just looking around at this cast and he's like, "What the hell is going on in here? Hey, is anybody gonna help me get some sushi? I got a plane to catch in like 20 minutes. I'm flying this weird guy on a private jet. And I don't know what's going on."
So they don't want to like lose that opportunity because they're like, private jet. Maybe we could get on that if there's not enough Bitcoin.
Yeah.
We could like throw in an extra $1,500 and maybe that's enough, right? Mm-hmm. So they all decide, okay, let's be sushi chefs.
Yeah.
And so they all make sushi, and it's just like a sequence of seeing dogs and cats and hamsters make sushi.
Yeah. So the pilot, he's presented with this plate of sushi. It's this beautifully made plate of sushi, actually. Yeah. And the pilot takes a bite. It's like, that's not bad. Not bad for a bunch of animals. Yeah, you're all right. You could actually do some pretty good stuff here. And with that, the animals were talking to themselves. They're like,
yeah,
we should jump on this guy's private plane. We should give him an offer. And so they TJ the DJ hamster pulls out his little pen and starts writing down on a piece of paper.
Yeah, because TJ the DJ hamster, he can communicate in Japanese.
Yes, he can. Yeah. So he writes out his note in Japanese, passes it over the counter to the pilot.
By the way, these animals, very American names for Tokyo.
Yes. Very American names.
We're going to get to that. We are going to address that by the end of this story.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they pass the note along with their offer. Pilot looks it over. Looks up at them, looks back at the note, up at them, back at the note, and decides, just nods his head in agreement. All right, that could work. They all get up, they all leave.
They leave, they follow him to this plane, and then we realize it's not a plane. No, he like takes them far away from the airport, and the whole time, like Bruce is like, we're going the opposite direction of the airport.
Yeah.
And TJ's like, well, it's probably like a private airfield if it's a private plane.
Yeah.
And we eventually we leave Tokyo even, and we like just get out into the middle of the Japanese countryside.
Yeah.
And we get to like this cabin, and he gets to this cabin, and he opens up the door, and what is it we see inside there?
We see a helicopter.
Yeah, inside the cabin. There's a
cabin.
roof to this cabin, but there's a helicopter inside.
He's hiding this helicopter, but this helicopter has got 2 jet turbine engines that he's outfitted onto it.
Yeah, it is a very futuristic diesel-looking helicopter.
Yeah, and he's one of these guys. He explains to them, "Look, I know this is very unassuming and everything, but I'm a military contracted spy, and I'm very interested in your story here, Bruiser. I've heard a lot about you, and I want to get you home. I know what's going on. I heard about it when I landed here, and I want to get you home."
Keep in mind, we saw this guy being a total creep for every other scene in the movie, so this feels like a dramatic turn. We feel like, okay, maybe this guy actually is good. Maybe he's decent.
Yeah.
Right? And Bruiser's like, okay, let's do it. So they all get on the helicopter. The ceiling of the cabin just separates out so that you can launch out of it. They're all on the helicopter because for some reason Bruiser's friends are like, "Hey, can we come with you too?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah, okay.
We got nothing else going on. Let's join you."
I'm sure my parents will adopt you too. It's fine. We'll get you some Social Security cards. You'll go to school with me. Everything will be fine.
You get some insurance.
So they get up. They get up into the air, and they're not really going fast. It doesn't seem like they're going fast, right? Like they haven't kicked in the jet engines on this helicopter. And the captain's like, "Just one thing before we take you home. I saw how you worked on the streets earlier. I need you to help me rob Tokyo National Bank." Because that's the big financial institution in Tokyo. Again, we did not write this. Some other people that probably worked for Disney.
It was like a team of 16 writers.
Yeah, 16
it was like
writers.
7 rounds of rewrites.
Yeah, this was written by committee.
Yeah, it was. It's like the Transformers films. Sorry.
Yeah, we are so sorry.
No, I'm sorry to you that
sorry
I make fun of Transformers.
You make fun of the Transformers movies?
Yeah.
Transformers movies are horrible.
Okay, good.
Side note, Transformers movies are horrible. Back to the story.
Yes, back to the story.
So he's like, I need your help robbing Tokyo National Bank. And the other animals are like, well, what should we do, Bruiser? Because now they're kind of looking at him a little bit as their leader, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, that's not right. Because he recognizes that, okay, pickpocketing people's Bitcoin is one thing. Because Bitcoin doesn't have any real value.
Yeah, it's not backed by an actual bank in this case.
If you're stealing Bitcoin from people, you're really just liberating them of some BS that they're dealing with, right?
Exactly.
But he's like, no, because hardworking people put their money in Tokyo National Bank. We can't take it away, right? So now we're on this helicopter with this military guy, this military black ops, evil, slimy captain guy chomping a cigar, and he's like, "We're gonna rob a bank," and everyone else is like, "No," and he pulls out one of those choke collars, and he's like, "I'm gonna put this on you," and they all start freaking out because no dog wants to wear a choke collar. The cat doesn't want to wear a choke collar. TJ the DJ doesn't want to wear a choke collar. So they're now jumping around in this relatively small helicopter. Yeah, right?
It's pretty even with twin turbine jet engines. It's small.
Yeah, it's very small. Those engines are the size of the rest of the helicopter.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things.
Yeah.
So they're all now running around the helicopter fighting, and he's losing control of it, and it crashes.
Yeah. So now they're all just stuck in the middle of this field. They have no idea how they're going to get home. They're just stuck there, and Bruiser just looks around. He sees the wreckage of the plane, and all of his friends they're okay, but they're all really shaken up.
They're all shaken up, and they're like the cat that saved his life is in critical condition, and they're like, we need to get you to a hospital now.
Yeah.
They look across the road, and there's an abandoned motorcycle.
Yeah.
And Bruiser's like, okay. He has a flat, like right before he says okay, because I jumped the gun. There's a flashback, and we see some scenes from that short film that was on the Disney Channel, right? So like we get the full emotional weight of what's going on.
Yep.
And then he looks at his friend. What's the cat's name again?
The cat's name is Ronald.
Ronald, right? Ronald the cat. So he looks at Ronald, and like there's a flashback to Ronald saving his life, and like the happy moments of everything else that happened.
Yeah.
And he's just like, let's do this. And Bruiser like grabs him by the scruff of his neck, right? Like he's a dog. He bites him by the scruff of his neck. He's like, hey, the cat's okay.
Yes.
Still in critical condition, but okay by being bitten by the scruff of the neck. And he hops on the motorcycle. TJ the DJ gets on his shoulder, and he's right there. And that giant dog, what was that giant dog?
Jasper?
Jasper. Jasper's like, I'm cool, guys. And Jasper's like, I'm actually going to go hike this mountain.
This looks like fun. I'm going to go hike this mountain.
I'm going to go hike this mountain.
And he just like runs away before they finish talking.
Yeah. Like the important thing to note about him, about Jasper, is that like he's been distractible. Like this whole movie we've seen him being distracted.
Yeah, exactly.
And now he's just distracted by mountains. Like, ugh!
Yeah.
And so they get on the motorcycle and they start riding. And it's like, okay, we're getting some nice scenic shots of Japan, right? Like this is where we're really showing off the grandeur of this location.
It's basically like an episode of Top Gear, but with a dog on a motorcycle with a cat in its mouth and a hamster on its shoulder. Yeah.
And then we see signs for like Tokyo Animal Hospital.
Yes.
30 miles. Tokyo Animal Hospital. 20 miles. Tokyo Animal Hospital. 10 miles. And like, we're almost there, buddy. We're almost there, right? Because they can talk with their minds. They're not moving their mouths, so it's okay that he still has them in his mouth.
Yeah.
And that helicopter from before comes up right behind them.
Oh, jeez.
Because he fixed it up, and he's now chasing them because they like betrayed him.
It's like Fast and the Furious.
Not
Fast and the Furious.
That's the title. That's the title of the movie, by the way.
Yeah.
Fast and the Furious. Yeah, and it's way better than Tokyo Drift. It's way better. And so like, this helicopter is like firing missiles at them, machine guns, lasers. It's got like a trebuchet built on the top of it that like launches some stuff at them.
Yeah.
And the whole time Bruiser's like dodging, and he's like driving that motorcycle like a total champ.
Yeah, total badass.
Yeah.
And eventually he gets to a point where he sees that the road is starting to come to an end. The road's closed up ahead because the bridge to get to the hospital is out.
Yeah.
There's no. It's the bridge is just destroyed. They have no way to get around it. But he sees to the right of the bridge, there's a slight ramp.
Yeah.
That he said, if I hit this fast enough, we'll clear it, no problem. So he guns it. He's going 100 miles an hour down this small back road in the country of Tokyo. And this guy in the helicopter just following. He's like, "You're not gonna make it. You're not gonna make it."
And we see his targeting computer. It says like
locks
on right onto him. Fires a missile. This is in slow motion right now. Yep. Missile is going right at the motorcycle. Bruiser looks right over his shoulder, and like you see that like, oh shit kind of feeling. I'm okay swearing.
Yeah, you're fine.
So he has this oh shit moment. It's coming at him, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, up jumps Jasper, who like bites the missile out of midair, right? Like just bites the tail of the missile.
Yep.
The missile breaks off of the tail. It flips around in the midair, and the missile goes back in the direction of the helicopter. You cut back to the captain.
Yeah, he's like, no!
Missile goes up, explodes, boom, blah. Next shot is just like cut to the animal hospital, everyone rushing in. Yeah. Bruiser standing on his two legs, and he goes right up to the desk, and he's like, you see like the most strained, painful look on his face as his mouth actually moves. This is the first time an animal's mouth moves, and he says in like perfect Japanese, he says, "My friend needs help."
It's like the end of Rise of the Planet of the or in Planet of the Apes where Caesar stands up for the first time and is like, "No!"
Yeah.
It's basically like that emotional weight of a moment.
Yeah, and so it's like, okay, everyone in the animal hospital drops everything, gives everyone attention.
Yeah.
Like we see the doctor like come out to the waiting room with the other animals, and he's like, "Your friend's gonna be okay." And then we see walk into the hospital the mom.
Yes.
And she's like, it's time to go home, Bruiser.
But Bruiser takes a second and he looks at his mom and is like, I can't leave my friends behind. These are my friends. These are people I can't leave behind. If I'm going, they're going with me.
And Mom's like, I don't know if we can do that. I don't know. There's like so much space. And TJ the DJ, like he goes over to Bruiser because like not all the animals can talk. It's not like suddenly all the animals are going to talk. That would be crossing the line.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, we're actually from America, so like even if we don't stay with you, we got people that we're missing too. Yeah. That's why all of our names are so Americanized. Right? Yeah. Boom, payoff, huge. I just accidentally flung a rubber band at Evan.
Ow!
It had nothing to do with the storytelling.
Ow!
You might, I don't know if you edit these things, that might be the thing to cut out because it has nothing to do with anything.
No, you're good.
I'm good. All right, okay. Great. Yeah, so then like they all get on the plane and they fly back and the credits roll.
The end.
The end.
Wow. what a crazy ride of a story that was.
That's intense.
That was intense.
Oh, yeah.
That was intense. That was almost as long as like a Disney Channel movie.
We have a decom right here.
We got a built-in decom right here.
But we're not giving it to you, Disney.
No, Disney.
Because we don't give free stuff away to you, and we're burning all your merchandise. Evan has some beautiful Marvel wall hangings in his apartment, and he's going to burn them as soon as we're done recording.
I guess I got to burn my phone then too. So I think with that being said, we're gonna take a break. We're gonna do some ads that are not for Disney. We're gonna talk about some stuff. I'm gonna go burn my phone, and then we'll be right back to tell another story here on Read Between. So stay tuned. Hey everybody, Evan here, along with Dan. Here to take this break time to talk about some stuff we've got going on. I will first let Dan start off and let us know what he's got going on. Any cool projects, shows, things you got coming up that you want to talk about?
Well, you and I are doing Challengers the Well Known.
Yes.
On April 7th at Steel Stacks at 10:30 p.m. Go to steelstacks.org/comedy to find out tickets for that. It's a scripted sketch comedy show. I directed the one last year with those guys. It was a lot of fun, really fun. And this next one we got coming up, it's called Accept Nothing Dirty.
Yes.
And Evan is in it. And Evan, how dirty is this?
Oh, it's pretty dirty, Dan. It's probably some of the dirtiest comedy I've ever seen.
Yeah, so if you like dirty comedy, come on out on April 7th.
Yeah.
And the only other thing I got going on is like I just finished this video game called Zeo Drifter for the Nintendo Switch today. I think it's available on other platforms as other platforms as well. But if you really like a Metroidvania, which is definitely my wheelhouse for video games, I recommend you check it out. Zeo Drifter.
Nice. I'm totally fine with giving plugs to video games because video games are good.
What are you playing? What video game?
I am currently playing Splatoon 2 right now.
Love it.
I'm playing Splatoon. I love that game. So much fun. And I'm already getting back into Fortnite Battle Royale.
Oh, nice.
I've got a bunch of friends that play it, so I've been playing that a lot recently. So
I'm very frustrated with Splatoon 2 because like I played the crap out of Splatoon 1. And now playing Splatoon 2, it's like it resets all your stats, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I don't put in enough hours to actually build it up, so everything, all my items only have like the 2 units rather than the 3 unit buffs.
Yeah.
As well as I can't use like the splat blasters or whatever that I like to use.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, definitely check out Splatoon 2. I'm totally cool. Nintendo, we're good with free ads.
Yeah, you're good, Nintendo.
Nintendo free ads. You're good.
Nuts to you, Disney. Until Disney buys Nintendo.
Yes, until that. Other stuff I've got going on. The new round of Improv Comedy Power Hour starts. Well, it's already started at this point because this episode is airing in April. So it's already started, but make sure you come check us out. It's every second and fourth Saturday at Steel Stacks. Dan is part of one of the teams
I'm on
as well.
one of the teams.
Yes.
Hawking Radiation.
Hawking Radiation. As of this point, our team currently doesn't have a name, but I'm sure we'll have a name at some point that I'll be sure to tell you about.
When you're listening to this in April,
we'll have had a name.
You'll have a name, and you'll be shouting at the podcast, "It's Black!
Yeah!
It's Black!" The name is Black.
Yeah.
The name you're going to settle on is Black.
Yeah, he's talked about this before. It's this name. It's Black. It's Black. So make sure you talk to me on Twitter and tell me why I didn't say the name right. You didn't just say Black.
Black.
But yeah, so that's what we've got going on. Some pretty cool stuff. As always, if you want to find out more about the stuff we do, Go to www.steelstacks.org/comedy. That's where most of the stuff we do gets featured, and you can find out more information and buy tickets. Buy tickets to a show. Come
Tickets
see
are
us.
great.
Tickets
Yeah.
are great.
They won't let you in without them.
Yeah, you got to have one.
Yeah.
If not, if you try to walk in, people will stop you.
Yeah. Even other patrons will stop you. They'll
Yeah.
be like, "Do you have a ticket?"
Yeah, they'll be like, "Whoa, I have a ticket. You don't.
Yeah.
Out of my way."
Yeah. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So with those plugs out of the way, let's go back to the show and let's tell another story. And we're back. We're back from break. It was a very productive break. Got to get up, stretch our legs,
Burn some phones.
burn some phones. Yes.
Smell a little smoky in here.
Yeah,
It's a little smoky. We
that-
should have opened the window.
Yeah, that's the lithium ion. That you'll smell that. It's okay. It's okay. The FCC has said it's okay to burn them.
Yeah,
so
we
it's
called them up. We asked. They said, "That's fine. You do what you got to do."
fine. Yep. Just make sure you don't do it inside your apartment. Unfortunately, we didn't follow that.
Yeah, that was a learned lesson.
Yeah, we'll learn. Yeah, I don't think I'm getting my security deposit back.
That's fine. You don't need it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. $500 don't need
Yeah,
it.
money is trash. None of you need money.
It's right, Disney. You don't need money.
Yeah, give it up, Disney.
Give up all your money, Disney.
Come on, don't make us send some little hamsters at you to steal your Bitcoin.
All right. Well, so for the second half of the episode, what we do here, if you haven't heard the second half of the episode before, why haven't you? Why did you stop halfway through?
Yeah, you're lame.
Yeah.
If you're giving up.
Yeah.
Keep going.
I've said that before. Just listen all the way through. It's good. We're funny.
If you are at the gym, do more reps.
Yes.
And listen to the rest of this. If you're on a road trip, go to a different destination so you can keep driving.
Turn around and start going back home.
Yeah. If you're visiting family, maybe invite them along, right?
Have a plate of seconds
Yeah.
because you're listening to this podcast
Yeah.
while you eat dinner.
Yeah, if you're having Thanksgiving dinner and you're listening to this podcast, eat more during your Thanksgiving dinner.
So in the second half of the show, I go to a website called fantasynamegenerators.com, and they have a book title generator. And it gives us a bunch of different genres, and you can get randomly generated book titles for those genres. So we'll spin on the couple genres, we'll pick some titles, and then we'll choose a story we want to tell. So Dan,
Yeah.
here are the genres that you can choose from.
Okay.
There is adventure,
Yeah.
children,
Sure.
drama,
Okay.
fantasy,
Okay.
horror.
I think we knocked off everything but horror in our last story.
Yes. So we have humor,
Yeah.
mystery,
Okay.
nonfiction,
Okay.
romance,
Okay.
and sci-fi.
Ooh. Can you do multiple genres? Or
Yeah, we're going to pick 3 genres, and then we'll
Okay.
spin and pull a title from each of them.
I really want nonfiction and romance.
All right, so we'll start with romance. We'll start with that. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I'm going to warn you right now, some of these titles may make no grammatical sense at all.
It's fun.
So there is one called Neighbors and Girlfriends. There's also one in here called Loss of the River,
Oh, God.
and there's also one there's 2 that involve nightmares. There's one that's called Preparing for My Nightmares and Possessed by My Nightmares.
Neither of those sound like good romance.
There's also one called Suitors of the Forest
That sounds pleasant.
and God in the River.
River really has something to do with romance.
I
according to
guess.
this.
Again, a lot of these it's just noun in the noun. Or
I like the neighbors and girlfriends, but I feel like that's going to deal with infidelity.
okay. So we can keep it as a choice because we're going to spin on 2 more genres
Okay.
and pick one out.
Great.
So Neighbors and Girlfriends will be the first one.
Okay.
All right. What's another genre?
Nonfiction.
Nonfiction.
What's that?
All right.
What's that about?
1, 2, 3. Oh God. So I'll read through these. Fungi of the Past, Devils of the West, Moons of the Sky,
Devils of the West.
Snakes and Horses, TV Around the World, Disasters of the West, Respect for Time Travel.
That, we're doing that. That's it. Don't need anything else. Respect for time travel.
You know what? I actually like that.
Okay.
I'm good with that. Let's just do it. Fuck it.
Sounds good.
Respect for time travel. Folks, for the second half of this episode, we're going to tell the story of Respect for Time Travel.
So, like, it opens up on this room, right?
Okay.
Like, on this, like, no lighting, but there's just, like, there's this table in the middle of it. There's lighting. There's, like, smoke around the outside. And you just see, like, 5 scientists around this table, and there's a box in the middle with like a little dial that you dial in what year, what time, what location even, and a button that says go.
Yeah.
And they're just staring at it.
They're staring very intently. They look very focused, but they're also like they're worried in a sense because they're looking at this like, is this gonna work? We've tried this so many times, but is this really gonna work? I don't know. And they're all very tense about this whole situation.
Yeah.
They keep wanting to turn the dial a little further back in the past, but they're too scared to do so.
One guy puts his hand and he's like gonna go to push the go. Like the other 4 are all like, no. And they stop. They like smack his wrist.
Yeah. And then it's until one point they get up. They all start pacing around the table.
It's important to note we're never going to leave this room.
No.
You're never going to see any other location in this story.
Yeah, they start pacing around the table. And they all start talking to one another. It's like, look, if you're not going to do it, I'm going to do it. Somebody's going to have to touch that button at some point. Somebody's going to have to take us back to 1945 or whatever year we choose. It's got to be one of us.
One of us needs to do it. And the whole time, like, the way we're shooting this, right? I guess this is not a book.
It could be a book.
It could be a book. But so like as a book, you're not seeing their faces. You're not getting a description of their faces. If this is a movie, you're not seeing their faces, right? And they're all dressed similarly.
They're all in white dress shirts and black pants.
Yeah, but some of them, like, their dress shirts are like a little disheveled. Some of them look a little nicer. Some of them have some rips in their jeans. Not their jeans, their dress pants. So like it's varying degrees of the same outfit.
Yeah, exactly. So all of them are they're just concerned because, and the thing is, we know why they're concerned.
Yeah,
they're concerned because they don't want to drastically alter anything.
No.
They want to go back into the past, but they don't want the repercussions of doing so.
Yeah. One of them even gives like a speech about the butterfly effect, just to make sure we know what's going on, right? If you go back in time, you change one slight detail, it's going to have a ripple effect. When you come back to your regular time, it's not going to be your regular time. You've caused a parallel timeline to split off.
Yeah. Yes. And unfortunately, in that speech, basically the only thing he did was he talked about the butterfly effect, but it was in the context of the entire plot of the Ashton Kutcher movie from 2002.
Yeah.
But then he also went on to rave for 10 minutes about how good Ashton Kutcher was in
this guy loves Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah, the one guy. Now this is the guy with his sleeves rolled up, and he's got a little hole in his dress pants, but he is an Ashton Kutcher fan for life.
And this one other guy who has his sleeves clearly unrolled, right? And his sleeves are like buttoned. They look a little bit nicer. This guy effing hates Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah.
Right? And so these two guys get into it, and they're like, well, that 70s show would have been a lot better if we never had Ashton Kutcher on it. And the other guy is like, no, without Ashton Kutcher on that 70s show, what is the dynamic during season 1, right? Like, you don't have that idiot guy, and all of a sudden, everyone's making smart moves.
Yeah. But then he also retorted back, oh yeah, well what about that terrible Steve Jobs movie he did? He didn't even act like Steve Jobs.
Yeah. And the other guy is like, what are you talking about? If you look at the other Steve Jobs movie, that was trash. What are we doing? Trying to tell Steve Jobs' life in 3 convenient chapters? No, you need to see the whole thing.
Then there was just a guy on the side. He was like, well, what about that Punk'd show that he did for like 4 seasons? That was like not great.
And then the other guy, both guys just like look at that guy.
Yeah.
And they're like,
Punk'd was pretty good.
They're both like, Punk'd was pretty good. They all agree on it. They all like Punk'd. But the guy, the Ashton Kutcher fan, even though he's saying he liked Punk'd, he doesn't love Punk'd the way he loves everything else that Ashton Kutcher does. It's just like, yeah, it was good.
Yes, because it wasn't like it wasn't solely Ashton Kutcher. There were all those other actors that were actually in the pranks and everything like that. He only came out at the end and be like, "You just got punked."
Yeah,
It wasn't like the Ashton Kutcher show.
He was the host, he was the face, but like it wasn't about him.
Yeah, it wasn't.
He just showed up to have fun.
Yeah. So after this whole argument about Ashton Kutcher, everybody was like, "Look, enough about Ashton. This is about time travel. This is what we're all here for.
Yeah,
the button's gonna get pushed at some point. It's gonna be one of you. It might be me. It might be you. It might be you. But we gotta nail it."
And they say we all know it's going to be pushed because it already has been pushed.
Yeah.
And then they sit down around the table, and that's the first time you see they all have the same face.
It's 5 different versions of the same
Five
person.
different versions of the same person.
Yeah.
That all ended up in the same location.
Yep. This was from the one guy. Now, his name was Tom.
Yeah.
Tom had created this machine. Tom had created this time travel machine.
At this point in time, like the camera pans over to like a screen.
Yep.
Right. So we're not leaving the location, but the
No.
camera's pointing at a screen.
Yeah.
That shows the development of.
Yeah.
the
It's kind of going. It's basically giving the exposition for us.
Yeah.
So it's basically showing all of his prior experiments where the first time he pressed the button, and it's one of those machines that it doesn't require you to be in like this tube to be transported.
Yeah.
You just press the button and it'll take you wherever.
Yeah. As long as you have physical contact with the machine.
Yes. As long as you're physically holding it, it's fine. So he pressed the button and he went back to 1985 first.
Yeah.
No problem whatsoever. Everything was fine. But unfortunately, he ran into his kid self during that trip, and he couldn't leave his kid self in 1985, so he had to bring him back.
Yeah.
And of course, when you time travel and you come back to this current day, you age to that age that you were currently at in that year. So he was maybe 10 years old in 85.
Yeah.
He aged 33 years.
Yeah.
In that course of that small time travel.
Yeah, his clothing like just rotted away in some parts. Like it had little moth holes in it. He got smelly because like all that lack of deodorant for all those years. It happens.
Yeah. So he arrived as present day Tom.
Yeah.
And then there were 2 Toms.
Yeah.
And it was a weird sight for Tom because he couldn't believe that there was 2 of him in the same place. So
he accepted it in the year 1985, but like once it was in the future, he's like, no, not now that we look the same.
Exactly. This is strange.
Yeah.
So he had to, of course, being a scientist, he had to test all the options.
Yeah.
He had to go back even further.
Yeah.
So he went back to 1915 when his great-great-grandfather was still alive.
Yeah.
And he had to figure out a way that he could get his youngest self pre embryonic state into the future.
Yeah.
And there was only one way to do that.
Yeah, you got to get sperm.
You got to get sperm from your great-great-granddad.
Yeah. And an egg. You need an egg.
And an egg.
Just the sperm alone.
The sperm. That's not
going to do it. That's
not. I mean, we've advanced science, but you need it. That's a 1 + 1 = 2.
You need all the DNA.
Yeah. In that day, it was called DNA. It wasn't
DNA.
called
You need all the DNA, right? Like this again. We've started messing with the timeline.
Yeah.
So some words and some things, some concepts are different from what you already know.
Yeah.
That's why there are people in this world that love Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah, because when it's pronounced Danae, there's no dots after each letter. It's not an acronym.
Yeah.
It's a D with an accent NA.
Yeah.
D apostrophe NA.
Which is much easier for kids to learn, right?
Yeah.
And so when they learn Danae instead of DNA, what's that stand for? Well, it stands for
Yeah.
Again, this stuff was written by Disney writers. We're just reading what's here.
Written by committee.
Yeah,
no.
we know the answer to what DNA stands for.
Yes, we do.
But we can't put that information in here because that would violate the script right now.
Yes. So again, in this involved numerous trips back in the past.
Yep.
He got the sperm.
Yep.
He got the egg.
Yep.
Brought him back to the future.
It's like he shows up and he just has like the sperm in one hand and the egg in the other.
Yeah.
So he just like rubs them together. And it's just like, and then he like activates the time travel machine, goes forward 35 years so that he ages to his current state. And it's like, he's there. It's there.
And then
Nonfiction.
And then he takes his self. Well, but if he goes back in the future, does he de-age, or does he de-age his self that he already brought back up to his current age when they travel back in time?
He doesn't know, right? Like
Yes,
he doesn't realize this, even though he's already traveled back in time multiple times.
Yeah.
He now asks this question, and once the question is asked, that somehow changes the fabric of reality, so that now it is a possibility.
Yes. So they travel back in time, and there's no de-aging that occurs.
No. So
Still.
he's like, whew,
Yeah.
wipes his brow.
Yeah. So that leaves 3 Toms now.
Yeah.
And the other two happened completely by accident.
Yeah. It's just like he went to the bathroom and like one of the other Toms is like, well, what if I do this? And then like just 3 seconons later, there's 2 more Toms.
Yeah, there's just 2 more Toms that pop up.
Yeah, it turned out he had a little bit left of the egg and the sperm on his hands. There's like a couple. There ended up being 3 eggs that they got. You know how that works, guys. And the sperm sample, like, well, I mean, like sperm is so small. There's so much of it, right?
3 eggs and sperm sounds like the worst Dr. Seuss book ever.
Yeah, 3 eggs and sperm. So there were 5 Toms in this room.
5 Toms in this room. So they all have very similar viewpoints, but they're slightly different. So they all know they need to push the button to take them all to the future.
Because they can't stay in the present.
They can't.
No.
There's got to be some way to consolidate the Toms into one sort of being, but it can't happen here in the present.
Yeah.
There's not enough technology here in the present that can do that.
No.
They need to go to the future.
No.
But the problem is all of the Toms actually like it in the present.
They do.
They like the present day.
They very much enjoy it.
They've all actually gone to lead separate lives. They're all married to different women.
Yep.
They all have their own sets of children. Granted, all the children look very similar.
Yeah.
All the children have very similar traits to their fathers. So a lot of the kids, they'll see each other because, all the Toms keep different appearances too. They look very similar facial wise and clothes wise.
Yeah.
But they very slight differences. So one Tom is a blonde, one Tom is a brunette.
One Tom has like a spider tattooed on his face. that's like the Tom that was first made from the egg and the sperm, who was just like, oh, what if I do this? And he accidentally made more.
Yeah, so he thought it was a good idea to get the full face spider tattoo.
He's not the smart one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's the 2 out of the 5 Toms are pretty smart.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Also, that Tom, spider face Tom, it's very important to note that's the one who likes Ashton Kutcher.
Ah. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense that a guy with a spider tattooed on his face would like Ashton Kutcher. So, but they're all just still, they can't seem to come to an agreement.
No.
It's, it'll be 2 or 4, 3 against, or 3 then it'll be 4 and then 2 against.
They're like, which time do we go to, right?
Yeah.
Because they're like, we know that if we do this once, it might disrupt somehow the fabric of the reality by all 5 of us time traveling. Because like they figured it out with math, that if you time travel with more than 3 people, it unravels reality, and they can't leave 2 people behind.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Tom with the spider tattoo didn't really offer much in the math field. He just wrote 6 + 9 = 69 and laughed for 20 minutes.
And we saw that.
Yeah,
because this is a movie. We saw that laughing in real time.
Yeah, it was. They basically did a montage scene of like the whole, where like 4 of them will just be at a blackboard and they're just like, okay, writing out this long equation. And then it cuts to Spider-Face Tom on his own blackboard. He's just 6 + 9 = 69. And just turns his like, yeah.
And he's just like, he's doing that for 20 minutes. And then it cuts back to the montage. It goes back to the montage of the
Oh, God.
You actually, you feel like you moved out of the montage at that point, but it's just like, no, the editor just like decided to hold on that, and the director was like, it's fun.
It's fun. It breaks up the plot a little bit.
Yeah.
So yes, with this math all decided that, there was only one specific time that they could go to. And it was 2050.
Yeah.
2050 was sort of the intersection of where they believed technology would be advanced enough that they could do what they needed to do, but it wasn't so far along that things would go completely wrong.
Yeah, they wouldn't corrupt the time stream. That's the phrase they keep using. Like, you can't corrupt the time stream.
And every time they say the phrase corrupt the time stream, they have to say it in that very dramatic.
Yeah, it's very dramatic. Like,
yes.
They're talking and they're like, I think Ashton Kutcher's kind of lame, but Punk was pretty good. But we cannot corrupt the time stream.
It's like Harrison Ford saying, "Give me back my son,"
or Admiral Akbar saying, "It's a trap."
Yeah, there's little hints of all those characters in each Tom.
Yeah, they're all aspects of different Star Wars characters. The work that they've gone on to do outside of Star Wars.
So we basically know that Spider-Face Tom is Jar Jar, right?
Yeah, Spider-Face Tom is Jar Jar. And he's like, well, if they ever reboot the original trilogy, like they should put Jar Jar in and just have Ashton play him. Like that guy has range.
He's an underrated character.
Yeah. What if he becomes like a Jedi Lord? I know there's that whole theory that maybe he's a Sith Lord, but like, what if it's about his redemption arc?
Yeah. Or what if, he's both?
Yeah.
Who says he can't be both?
That's what brings balance to the Force. Jar Jar being both a Sith Lord and a Jedi Master.
Double agent?
No, he works for both sides, but then maybe it turns out there's a third side of the Force. I don't know. The Kutcher side.
Oh, gosh. Oh, wow. Again, Disney.
Disney.
We're
not paying you anything. We've already destroyed all your products.
Yeah. I've already burned any tickets that are going to be sold for Solo in May.
Yep.
I went to the local Carmike just now and burned all advanced tickets.
Yep. They were cool with it too. They were like, "Oh, you got a beef with Disney?"
All right. Yeah, we did too.
You're good. Yeah.
They take so much money from us when we try to screen the movies.
Yeah. All we make money on is from popcorn sales, and our popcorn is stale.
Yeah.
Take that, Carmike.
Yeah. Thanks, Disney.
Thanks, Disney.
Hashtag thanks, Disney.
Yeah. So they settle on 2050.
Yeah, 2050.
And they push it. They push the button.
And all 5 of them push it at the same time.
All 5 of them, they go to it. Yeah. And then the camera's spinning around, and you're seeing them phase in and out of existence. This is the first time we really see the time travel process, right? Because otherwise everything was just talked about. And then it stops, and we're still in that room. And the 5 of them are there. And they all look over, and there's a door. We didn't see the door before.
No.
No.
This was just a dark room. There was no door leading anywhere.
And there's light bleeding through the seams of the door, right? And the handle starts to turn on the door, and all of them kind of step back a little bit. The door opens, and in walks Ashton Kutcher.
What?
Oh my god.
Spider face is we get to a close up on him, and his eyes light up, and he's like, "Yo, Ashton!" And the weird thing is, it's late 90s Ashton Kutcher. This is a young looking Kutcher, right? In his prime, right? And he just walks into the room, and the camera just cuts to a shot where we see the little time machine, and it still says 2050 on it.
And then Kutcher walks over to them, and he's looking at all of them. Yeah. And of course, this is butterfly effect.
Butterfly effect, guys.
Kutcher, this butterfly effect Kutcher. He's looking at all of them. He's like, "Do you guys know what you've done? Do you understand what you've done? This world is not the world you know."
And they're like, "What?" And he's like, "Turn on the TV." And so they turn on that screen that we had before, right? And it goes on, and it cuts to a news broadcast, and it's Ashton Kutcher reporting the news. And as Ashton Kutcher's reporting the news, he talks about the president, and the president is Ashton Kutcher. Yeah. And it's just everyone in this world is Ashton Kutcher.
They throw to the weather broadcast. Take it over to Ashton. Ashton, how you doing? Hey, Ashton, thanks for checking in. Yeah. Yeah, it's looking to be 55 and sunny. Let's head over to traffic with Ashton. Ashton, what's the traffic looking like out there?
Well, we got a lot of Ashtons out there. They're all driving their Ashton Kutchers. That's what we call cars now. It's the year 2050, and we like to talk about what we call things. Yep. So there's a lot of traffic backed up on Ashton Kutcher Memorial Highway.
And heading toward Ashton Kutcher Boulevard, we got a whole pile up there. So.
And it just devolves into people just saying Ashton Kutcher, Ashton. It's like they're Pokemon, but they're Ashton Kutchers.
They try to change channels to just everybody just saying Ashton Kutcher.
Ashton Kutcher all the
Ashton
time.
Kutcher. It's the one they flipped to was an ASPCA commercial. And it's just Ashton Kutcher, Ashton Kutcher, Ashton, Ashton Kutcher.
And at that point, we see an object just smash into the TV, and it was Spider-Face that threw it, and he's like, "No, this can't be right. If there's more than one Ashton Kutcher out there, then we have corrupted the time stream." And this is his first real monologue that doesn't have to do with Ashton Kutcher, even though he's still talking about Ashton Kutcher. Well, it's his first intelligent monologue about Ashton Kutcher, where he's saying one Ashton Kutcher is special and beautiful in the universe, but once you have more than one Ashton Kutcher, they're no longer special and beautiful. Yeah. And that's when they all look around the room and they're like, there are 5 of us. They realize they didn't age, but in fact, their faces all changed, and they're all now Ashton Kutchers.
Holy shit. Yeah, so the time stream is absolutely destroyed at this point. There is no semblance of getting anything back to normal.
No.
That is unless they kill the original Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah.
The one.
The King Kutcher.
The King Kutch.
The King Kutch.
King Kutch.
The King Kutch
Yeah.
has to be destroyed in order to set balance back to the world.
Okay.
Because it's basically a Mr. Meeseek scenario. When you kill the king, or everything else dies. It's basically like when a task is vampires.
You kill the original vampire, and then every other vampire is released.
When a task is complete, everything's dead. Yeah, exactly. Same thing. But yeah, so they have to find the King Kutcher.
Yeah.
And kill him. And at this point in 2050, Ashton Kutcher's an old man.
Yeah.
He's in a retirement home in LA. He's living life.
Yeah.
He's living life at 85. Him and Demi Moore are still together, and oh wait, no, it's Mila Kunis at this point. I'm thinking 2000s Ashton Kutcher. Him and Mila Kunis still together.
Yeah.
They're living their time in the southern LA.
And she is the one other unique human still.
Yes.
All other humans have changed, but there's one Mila Kunis. Yeah. And they're like, well, how do we get there? And the young Ashton Kutcher who came in is like, guys, I've been waiting for you. And he shouts back to the door, bring him in! And they like these two tough-looking Ashton Kutchers bring in this guy with like a sack on his head, and they throw him into the room, and he's on his knees. And then the young Ashton Kutcher takes the mask, takes the hood off, and it's Old Man Kutcher.
Old Man Kutch.
And he's like, it has been foretold that you would come here and uncorrupt the time stream. But only one of you can do this. And he takes out like this ceremonial bong that like has a That 70s Show sticker on it. And he's like, you must kill him with this. And they look around the room and like four of the Toms are like, yeah, no problem. And they like pick up one of them picks up the bong and just like smacks it over his head.
But it doesn't break.
It doesn't break. And nothing happens to Kutcher. And he's like, no, it can't be one of you four. And they point to Spider-Face. And he's like, you must do it.
And the thing is, Spider-Face, he knows you don't have to bash Old Man Kutch over the head with it. He knows exactly what you need to do.
Yeah.
You need to light that thing.
Yeah.
And blow the biggest rip you can in Old Man Kutch's face.
Yeah, because you can die from marijuana smoking.
In 2050, marijuana got bad.
Marijuana got real dangerous in 2050. Yeah. So he pulls out his stash and he like puts it into the Ashton Kutcher That 70s Show bong, and he lights it up. And he's crying. Tears are coming down Spider-Face's eyes because like he's fine with the mission. It's what he has to do because that's the original Ashton Kutcher. That's the special, beautiful one.
He's upset with the result. He knows what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want it to happen.
He doesn't want it to happen. It's like Of Mice and Men.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
It's that end scene right there.
Yeah, it really is.
So he sparks it up and tears streaming down his face. He blows the smoke into Ashton Kutcher's face, Old Man Ashton's face.
He actually turns to dust.
Yeah.
Floats into the ether.
That time travel effect from before starts to happen. It starts to like shift around, and all of a sudden we're back in the room, and it's just one Tom. And he looks down at his hand, and he's like, "Oh, gross, semen."
The end.
The end.
Oh my God! Wow. I did not think I was going to talk about Ashton Kutcher that much ever on a podcast, but that was amazing.
It was amazing.
That was unbelievable.
It was a lot of fun.
Holy shit! Oh man. Well, Dan, thank you so much again for joining us today. This has been amazing. This has been hilarious. No problem. It's always so much fun to get another person in here to get another perspective whenever we tell these stupid stories because like. You brought something today that, oh my God, I never would have expected. So again, thank you so much.
Well, thank you for having me, Evan, Lynn.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about your phone that we had to destroy it.
I can get another one.
Okay.
I can get another one. I'll get a Disney-free phone this time.
All right. That's important.
Yeah, exactly. Again, Disney. No free ads. We're done with this. We don't have to explain ourselves again. This episode is going to be tagged no free ads. I'm telling you. Yeah. So with all that being said, it's time to close our show with some plugs. So we'll let our guest Dan, if you want to plug your social media, anything else that we haven't talked about already. where people can find you.
I don't know any of my social media. Go to danmaher.net. danmaher.net. That's where my social media is linked.
Awesome. Cool.
All right.
Cool. danmaher.net. Check him out there. Again, as we talked about before, any of the shows we got coming up, Challengers of the Well-Known, April 7th at 10:30. Improv Comedy Power Hour, 2nd and 4th Saturdays, 10:30 p.m. And I'm sure he's got a whole bunch of other stuff that he's coming up that he can't talk about right now. So
it's all Black Ops.
It's all Black Ops stuff. He's like that military man with the twin turbine helicopter.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring one of those into Splatoon 2.
Nice.
Perfect.
Just destroy fools with that. So as for us, you can find me on Twitter at E_Williamson93. I post all of my silly exploits on there. I need to start using it more though, instead of just posting GIFs. But hey, posting GIFs is fun. So that's what I enjoy doing. Lynn, how about you?
You can find me on Twitter at AnnLynn, AYNNELNN. Whenever I do anything on the internet, that's where I post it. So just follow me and stuff.
Yeah, and you can follow the show on Twitter at readbetweencast. You can catch the show on YouTube. You can find it on iTunes. You can find it on Google Play Music. Find it on Stitcher. And we're also on Pinecast. So pretty much go to our Twitter page. You'll find all the links for the show there. Thanks again for listening. We appreciate you checking us out. Thanks again to Dan for guesting today. We really appreciate it.
Happy to be here.
And we will see you guys next week. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.